Hey, Chorus, I want to talk to you a little bit about note duration. Basically, note duration is just the length of that particular note, whether it's a longer held note or whether it's a shorter note. And we've been obviously doing a lot of singing and looking at a lot of rhythms and things like that. So let's kind of put all the pieces together. And I'm going to put the link for this particular lesson also in Schoology so you can actually follow along with this on your own device. But we have right here in front of us all of our notes. And the first one that we're going to look at is the whole note. Kind of looks like a donut. And it's not a full note, but it's a whole note. It is the longest note in modern music. Typically, it lasts for 4 beats, but it also depends on the time signature. The next note is our half note. You notice the difference between the whole note and the half note, right? The half note has the stem, all right, and that's kind of what's going to differentiate that from the whole note. It is half the value of the whole note, so it would be typically and traditionally 2 beats. So this is kind of what it visually looks like when you put it all together. When we move on into our quarter note, you notice the difference between the quarter note and the half note. The half note here is not filled in, but the quarter note is filled in. So that's a visual reminder that as we fill the notes in, they're going to get shorter in their value or duration. Okay, so when the notes start getting filled in, still has the stem, right? And the quarter note is going to occupy the same space as a half note, half note. So in other words, there are 4 quarter notes in a whole note, 2 quarter notes in a half note. All right. Now, as we move on, as I said, as we fill in the notes, they get smaller in duration. And as we add a flag to the notes, they get even smaller in duration. So here we have the eighth note, which only has 1 flag. All right. So then when we look at that, we look at 2 eighth notes occupy the same space as a quarter note. All right. And then we move on to the 16th note. Notice it has 2 flags, which means it's even shorter in its value, right? So 2/16 equal an eighth. 4/16 are going to equal a quarter. All right, and so here's that visual right there for you, okay? All right, although it's possible to have notes with 3 flags and 4 flags, those are not common in our type of music that we're doing as far as choral and vocal music, but you would see that often in some instrumental music like violin or flute, and also in percussion. Okay, so here is the full-on chart right there. Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of that, and I'll post that into our resource folder for note duration. And you can always come back to this music theory lesson, which I'll have posted in Schoology.